Drivers are like any other athlete in one respect. Because of experience or ability, some are just better than others. At any track, as well as nationally, the same names are usually near or at the top of the driving standings. Each program carries statistics that will tell you about any driver. These statistics are for the current year or racing meet at the track and will carry several key indicators of ability. Shown are the number of starts, the number of wins, number of second-place finishes, and third-place finishes. Also shown is a figure known as the Universal Driver Rating, a weighted average assigning more importance to wins than other finishes. It's the product of the number of wins times 9, added to the number of seconds times 5, and then added to the number of thirds times 3. That product is then divided by the number of starts times 9. Like baseball, any number over 300 is considered good. A driver with a lower average may still be considered a good bet if the driver has done well in the past with the horse he or she is driving tonight. Drivers have streaks, both good and bad. Regular racegoers should note these streaks and take them into account when all other handicapping figures are equal. It just may be the edge. In horse racing, the key to winning is understanding the odds and betting accordingly. In every race, the infield tote board, as well as the hundreds of television monitors around the track, show what each horse's odds of winning are according to the opinion of the bettors. The odds are not set by the track, but by the fans. The total amount wagered, less the amount withheld for purses, taxes, and track revenue, are divided by the amount bet on each individual horse. Note also that the odds shown are for win only, not place or show, or for any of the other wagers like daily doubles, perfectas, or trifectas, for which possible payoffs are usually shown on TV screens. The most experienced bettors make their own estimates of odds based upon their own handicapping. They look for situations where a horse they estimate should go off at 4-1 is at much higher odds on the tote board. That's a winning situation. The ability of a horse is ultimately known by the abilities of the horses he is able to meet and defeat on the racetrack. The names of the top horses in each race are listed in what's known as the best company line. It's simply the names of the top 3 finishers in the race. While the past performance lines in a program give what amounts to being a picture of what happened to a horse in a given race, an additional bit of illustration is always worthwhile. Most race programs offer comments for each charted line in a purse race. This can be helpful since symbols do not appear for every possible situation a horse may have encountered. For example, a horse may have raced strongly into the home stretch but have been blocked by one or more horses in the final few yards. There's no symbol for such an occurrence, but a comment line will tell you. As you become familiar with races and racing strategy, you might want to keep a list of horses who have encountered problems during a mile or who seem to have been helped by the misfortune of others. Handicappers call this a trouble list. Keep it with you and jot down the names of horses, the dates they merited comments, and a brief detail on what happened. It will put you lengths ahead in the handicapping race. Individual past performance lines are like chapters in a book. Individually, they may be fine, but when put together with all the lines recorded by the horses in a race, they tell so much more. This collection of performance lines from the same race is called a chart, and it's carried in the back of race programs a day or two after the race. The chart paints a more complete picture of what unfolded in a race and puts everything, times, racing positions, and tactics into perspective. In an individual line, you may see a horse was parked out, but in a chart you will almost always see why. You might not know why a horse did not press a slow early pace by looking at its individual line, but may, by looking at its chart, see others broke stride up front, making such a tactic virtually impossible. Knowing where a race was contested is important information. The abbreviation, which may be translated in a chart found elsewhere in your program, shows not only the name or location of the track, but the size of the track. All other things equal, faster miles are recorded on larger tracks. Mile tracks are about 3 seconds faster than 5/8 mile tracks, and in turn, 5/8 mile tracks are about 3 seconds faster than a half-mile track. The reason is that the shorter the circumference of the track, the more turns a horse will encounter in a mile race, and in the turns a horse naturally has to slow a bit to negotiate the bend. The United States Trialing Association in 1955 developed comparative speed ratings. In the past, these were calculated by comparing the performance of groups of horses traveling from track to track. Today, the times come from comparisons of average and median times posted at each track. Though times alone are not always a perfect handicapping factor, you'll be able to compare times posted at different tracks by looking at the speed ratings. A horse who raced in 1:58 over a track rated at 2 minutes might be compared to a horse who paced 1:56 over a track rated at 1:57. The former, although seemingly slower, actually went, theoretically, 1 second faster.